Sydney's number one podcast, West Underground.
Hello everybody and welcome to West Underground. I am Jack, this is Hamish, and this is Alex Jae.
Hello.
You clicked it and this is why you should wear headphones.
Look, Jack just wants me to push buttons all the time, but he hates it if I use the smoke machine.
Does the smoke machine run on a button?
Yeah, it does. But he wants to push these buttons, and I hate it when he pushes these buttons. But then I want to push.
I want to push these buttons. These
yeah,
are the
it
buttons
sounds like some buttons are definitely getting pushed.
Yeah. Usually we sit next to each other, and today we're like, I'm going to sit over here.
Which is good because I think we're both a little slightly hungover today, and maybe a bit more.
We hugged it a few times last night.
Yeah.
Hugged. Yeah. That's nice.
We hugged.
So what did you guys get up to?
Well, I went to Liam Gallagher, and then Jack met me at the after party.
Oh.
Yeah. I went on a pub crawl in Newtown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Everywhere. I had a pint in every pub.
Nice.
And now I feel like I've had a pint in every pub.
In Newtown, yeah.
Well, I'm happy you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we pretty much after we had Bec Charlwood on, who's your co-host and friend, and then I started listening to your podcast. The Godfather was the one because I had like mansplained The Godfather, which is the point of your podcast.
Yes.
And then I listened to it, and I was like, "Wow, this is all right." And then I downloaded a few because I was like, I had a few flights that week. Sorry, environment. I'm like Kylie Jenner. Anyway.
I felt like flying. I couldn't be bothered to drive.
I was going to drive, but you know what? It was just easier to get on a Jetstar plane. Yeah. Sit between two large men.
So much easier.
But it was worth it. And so I like downloaded them for the journeys.
That's really
because you
nice
can't
of
use the plane's Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Because the pilots are greedy bastards.
They don't like it.
They don't like it. So yeah, and I really, really got into it.
Thank you.
So glad. I absolutely love the concept.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. If you could ask me to do it once, I'd be very, very happy.
Oh, I'd love to get you on.
I'd feel like I was sitting in on the Let It Be sessions with the Beatles. That's what it would feel like to me.
We'd love to. What would you do? What's like your favorite movie or movie that you've done cinema to people before?
Every movie is a movie I've done cinema.
It
made me look at me, right, and go.
We get that a lot.
I do that, don't I?
We get that a lot.
Oh my God, you've never have you done The Fugitive?
No, we haven't done okay.
I'll do The Fugitive.
All right, you come up.
Yeah,
with The
I love that film. And
which one's that? Is that Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
And he's like, I'll mansplain it to you now.
Please do.
Yeah, he's convicted of killing his wife, but he didn't do it.
Is there like a famous line or a speech?
I didn't kill my wife.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah, and he goes, I want every hen house, dog house, cat house, outhouse, and hen house.
Okay, cool.
Your fugitive's name is Richard, whatever his name is.
Richard Kimball?
Richard Kimball.
I only know that because John Mulaney does a bit about The Fugitive, I think.
Oh, does he?
One of his specials.
They do it in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
Oh, okay.
He has like, Jake Peralta has this bit and he goes, I'll finally get to do it. And he's like, let me do it. And then he does that bit.
Jake Peralta is the most dude cinema character of all television.
So dude cinema.
He loves the fucking Die Hards,
the
Fugitives. Yeah, he's our perfect fictional person.
Yeah, he's like, you've built this because of Jake Peralta, I feel like. Yeah.
This is an Andy Samberg dedicated podcast.
Yeah, sorry, Andy. But it's so, like, honestly, the concept is amazing.
Oh,
I love it.
Great.
I absolutely love it. The Batman one, I felt a bit disheartened by.
Okay.
Because I love that film and I went to watch it 3 times in the cinema.
The recent one. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the review and I was like, oh, maybe I don't love this anymore.
Look, we all are allowed to like what we like. That's our kind of mantra. That's our mission statement. Is everyone can just like what they like, and it's fine if we don't like the same things.
Yeah. I love the research you do for it, and like you set the scene of the film and all that. And I was like, the first one, like I said, because of The Godfather. And it was funny because Bec said, I was on a podcast the other day and I was like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. I mansplained. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to change people. I'm trying to change.
Look, it's baby steps, right?
Yeah.
It feels really funny at the moment because like since we had Bec on, and I suppose we're following your page and stuff now on Instagram. So when I go into Instagram, I log in and I've just seen so many of your reels, and now you're like sitting here, which is kind of like this full circle moment.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
So like your reels will be like sandwiched in between like, you know, like clips of like, what do we get? Like a couple Rogan clips and like things like that.
Yeah.
So it's just
the whole spectrum.
yeah. So it just feels like a really cool moment, like in a full circle moment right now.
Oh, that's lovely.
I felt like that when I came to watch your show at Sydney Comedy Festival.
Oh, you did. Thank you so much.
Totally
for coming.
fine if
Thank
not.
you.
Awesome show.
Thank you.
Absolutely awesome show.
Guys,
We sat in the front row.
Float out of here.
Yeah, and it was funny because I do like sitting in the front row. My missus was like, I'm not sitting there. And I was like, but there's 2 seats there.
You guys were the ones I spoke to.
Yeah.
And the whole bit where people
and it
were
was
sitting in
so
the front
funny
row
because-
were
Oh, okay.
way too confident for my liking.
Seeing that, and you were like, oh, you're confident, aren't you? And I was like, oh, shit. She gonna talk to me. But yeah, you were gracious about it. You were nice.
Way too anxious.
So we had nice hair.
to
That's
be
always
mean.
nice, isn't it, when you get told that?
Yes. You do. You have gorgeous locks.
Just before we started, we had a 5-minute conversation about shampoo.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, the best ones out there.
What brand is it that you're
I don't
using?
know,
Because I complimented you
actually.
saying
I
that
don't
your
know.
hair looks very shiny.
It's a
and
red
healthy.
bottle.
Red
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find out for it.
Okay.
You've got nice hair.
Thank
but
you.
it's-
I also
I'm
use-
just saying, level up. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's
treat yourself.
it's nothing like these locks.
Treat yourself.
Thank you.
You gotta treat yourself out.
Well,
Early this morning, I was in the shower, you know, just trying to come back to life after last night. And I was like, I probably should wash my hair. So anyway, I squeezed the shampoo into my hand.
I'm glad
right?
you took that effort for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Well,
but
you know.
that's a hangover shower, right? It's nothing just comes easily. You have to run up to stuff like, I guess I should fucking wash my hair, and then 5 minutes later you muster the energy to squeeze that bottle.
Yeah, and then, but anyway, like got to that point and I had to put the bottle back on the shelf, and I read on the back of it, because I put it around the wrong way, that it had like pearl extract in this shampoo. And I was like, how do they extract pearl?
The juice of pearl.
Yeah, I was like, they talking about like the pearl from like the, you know, the ocean, like the jewelry pearl? I don't know.
I'm gonna say I don't believe it.
Yeah,
Because I don't
me.
think anyone's ever looked into it or questioned them on it.
And they've just put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the old
Yeah.
on the rider thing, you put like an apple pie on there.
Yeah.
And then you know they fucking read the rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the apple pie.
Something really like 1,000 brown M&Ms or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Rider?
I no. Well, this shows who I am as a person. Really, I used to just ask for like at home we'd get whatever we wanted. Pretty much, we got to a point where I'd be like, I want KFC. Give me some
Awesome.
heroin. No, I'm kidding. But
and
we'd
heroin.
always get like a big, the big bottle of Jack Daniels, and then we'd never finish it, and then we'd just leave it.
That's the way to do it though. Like my guitar teacher, he plays in the band Dragon that wrote like April Sun in Cuba, the song that Scott Morrison went and butchered on TV. But he was telling me he's got the biggest collection of like wine because he goes to the gigs, asks for like all these bottles of wine, and then doesn't drink them and just collects them.
Fucking genius.
Yeah,
Smart, though.
yeah.
That is so smart.
What do you ask for? What do you ask for?
What do I?
Yeah, is there anything
Comedians don't
specific?
often get asked, what do you
No.
want? No, I don't think I've ever
Well, I'll give you a body stage and a microphone, didn't I? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been asked. I don't think I'm at that level
Yeah.
yet to be asked what would you like backstage.
It is good though, because you think, are they being serious? Like, is this a serious thing? You think I'm worthy of sandwiches? Thank you. we got this private gig once.
Water. That will be my rider from
Yeah,
now
a
on.
very small bottle of water. At West Underground, we get everything that's big. We played this gig, and this guy owned. He'll be watching this actually. Paul, hello. He owns a music venue. And I don't know how he's got so much money, let's just say, right? Because it's never full. And it holds like 1,600 people, right?
Wow.
So we essentially played a gig to him and his mates, right? In this huge venue. They had like fucking amazing lighting rigs. Like, I literally do like, what do you want for the lighting show? And I was like, tell him, if we could have filmed our music videos in there, this would have been the place. But there was nobody there, and I didn't. It's obviously I don't wash his money up. I won't name the venue. It's called The Venue. And they like picked us up in a limo. So it was like 3 hours. We stayed in a hotel nearby.
Oh my God.
And like amazing what they put on for us. And I was like, you must really like our fucking band.
Where is
You know what I mean?
coming from?
And I never understood it.
That's fun.
But he'd seen us once. He went, he's a northern man. He's like, right, lads, how about you come play a gig for me? And we did just play it for him.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was weird.
Paul.
It was weird. Man's got some money.
All right.
Yeah.
Good on you, Paul.
Is this in Australia or overseas?
No, this is in England, in Chesterfield.
Oh,
I'm giving
okay.
so many things away. He's legit. I promise. He's legit. But it's that kind of situation. What would you like? And I was like, nobody's ever asked me that before.
Actually,
I don't know.
I'm flattered. I'm
I don't know,
flustered.
yeah,
I don't know.
Really? I wonder when it gets to the level of you become an arsehole about it.
Well, I was just thinking that,
You know?
like,
Yeah.
when do you go from like, oh my gosh, nothing, thank you, just being there is a blessing,
Yeah.
to
Drew Barrymore in the rain.
1,000 M&Ms. Yeah.
Oh my God.
If I'm being honest, I think it happens when people get given, like when that stuff happens all the time.
Too
And then
many
like
times.
Ricky, I remember watching Ricky Gervais's last special, and he had a joke about it. He's like, the first time I went to the airport and got like the person came up to me and they brought me on the plane first and put me up right at the first class. I was like, I didn't want anybody to see me. The second time I came to the airport, I was looking for that person. And the third time I came to the airport, I'd made sure that person was waiting for me.
Expected that person.
Yeah. So it's
right.
when you get treated a certain way and it gets pulled back, that's when you become an asshole, I
Then
think.
you need it back.
That's why I don't like going to gigs, other music gigs, really, because I like being...
The center of attention?
Fuck off. It's true. But I like that thing of...
Every performer wants to be the center of attention.
Yeah, you gotta be.
You have to.
Gotta be.
Mum.
I think it's just like, it's for me to be at another gig. That's why I like going to comedy, because I can go and not be thinking music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you're there and you're like, I like being in the backstage room, and you know what I mean? And
we're out here with the plebs.
yeah, fucking queuing up for a fucking drink.
Paying
Who
to
am
get
I?
in.
Yeah.
Do you read, like, because I struggle going to music gigs like a lot, like, because I will start rewriting it in my head, like their songs. I'll start like deconstructing it and going, I would have done this, I would have done that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very similar for comedy.
Yeah. You do that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it depends on the comedian. I really enjoy going to watch people who are like absolutely nothing like me, like style wise.
Yeah.
Like, I love watching more absurdist comedians like your Sam Campbell's, that kind of thing, Dan Rath, all those guys.
Is Sam Campbell the guy who's just nuts
He's
on
nuts.
stage? Yeah, I seen that guy.
Yeah.
And he was... My missus was like, why are you laughing so much? And I was like, I don't know. He's just fucking hilarious.
He's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he does a lot of like animation on a
Yeah.
screen and stuff. And so I love watching that because that's the only time that I can fully just like my brain can just switch off and just enjoy it. Because I'm
Yeah.
watching it like I could never even attempt to do anything like this.
Oh, because you're watching it knowing the formula as well.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
when with comedians
Yeah.
who are like similar to me
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something, you do like yourself do get more into the like, oh, I thought of a tag for that joke, or I would have structured that a bit differently or something. But yeah, I much prefer to go and watch people
Yeah.
who I'm like, I could never even attempt that, so I can just switch off and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you say to another comedian, I've got this tag. Would you want that for that joke?
That's a tricky one.
Because I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay. How does that work for music?
To a musician, I couldn't be like, I think you should. I love Hamish, right? Hamish is on track. He'll be a producer in music, right? And he will conquer the world in it,
Hell yeah.
right? When he says to me, I'd do this, I'm like, fuck off, right? But I know it's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't like
You're so proud.
hearing your, you know what I mean?
it's-
He's
it's-
only trying to help.
But I think as performers, we take it just default to taking it as criticism before we actually can sit back and process
can't
it.
take the positivity out of it.
No, because you just like, if you're offering a tag or something. So I never do that unless it's like a really close friend. But just an actual like comedian acquaintance, I would never offer anything. But some people do. But I think it's pretty taboo. Like unless you know what you're giving them is fucking amazing and you're just gonna like absolutely rock their shit. Otherwise, I just wouldn't bother because then it's like they can figure it out. If they're happy with the joke as it is, then they're happy with the joke as it is.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't give like anybody else. Like, well, I only give a few, and like some people like will now like send me their shit and be like, what would you
See, that's cool.
But like when I tell you, Jack, I'm never trying to like be a prick about it.
No, I know that, but I mean, it's
be
just,
nice.
You, I think you go, well, I think it's fucking good, but you are only doing it to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like he's going, I think that's a bit fucking shit, man. I think
I think you need to work on that. Or
yeah,
anything.
it's not like that, but I think, I don't know, maybe we just can't handle
feedback.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know as comedians we find it really hard.
Do you
to
have
check on
family
feedback.
members? So like my brother, my mum, and my dad all say the same thing. You know, I'm only this is my dad. I'm only so hip, like, you know, I give you this feedback and like look at it and tell you if it's not good, you know, because I'm your biggest fan, but I'm your biggest critic, right? Hey, there are 3 people every time I do anything, right?
Wow.
Who's the biggest critic? Can one of you not just be a fucking fan? You know what I mean? Like, do we all have to be critical?
Top 3 critics.
Yeah,
in my life.
look at that. My missus is just like, I think it's good. You know what I mean?
Yes, I like that.
need that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's nice.
Appreciate that. But
Yeah,
have you got that?
Unwavering, unquestioning support and adulation. That's what I need from
That's
everyone in
what
my life.
I need a Labrador.
I do. If
Yeah.
everyone in my life can just be a Labrador, I'd be super happy.
Yeah.
No, my family's like your partner. Just like, it's amazing that you're even doing it. And that's it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But they live up in Newcastle, so they don't come in, they don't see me do stuff very much. So it's all from afar, and they all just think it looks very glamorous. And
I've seen your
spectacular.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, it's a funny. I mean, it's different, I suppose, with if you like post one of your bits, but I've had it where, like, I'll post a video of one of our songs, like I did it not long ago on Instagram, and people are like commenting, and I was like, "There's no way you watched all of that."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have watched it. if I seen a 5-minute live video, unless the sound was like, you know, when you get that like phone shit sound of music.
Yeah.
If that's unfair, I just go, I like it. You get
Yeah,
to like
it's
that,
like-
but you're not getting.
I got it.
You're getting 4 minutes out of me.
I got the vibe.
Yeah.
I got the gist. Yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy?
I started 10 years ago, I did my first gig, and then I only did like for about a few months, and then I stopped for a couple of years. So properly started in 2014.
Oh,
It's about
okay.
8 years now. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like this interview is like Pulp Fiction, like where we started at present day and then we're going back to the start. Yeah.
Have a non-linear storyline.
Oh yeah, with
That's
cheese.
it.
Have you done Pulp Fiction?
We sure have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is that a big listened and watched episode?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
that's like the main in the zeitgeist of dude cinema, where we're like the main movies where dudes are like, I can't believe you haven't seen it. It's Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, and Star Wars. That's the top 3. Dudes love Quentin. You're not a Star Wars fan? That's fine, because neither am I.
No, I like the older ones.
Yeah.
But I don't. When I was a kid, I really liked the newer ones, and then like I watched them like not long ago, and I was like, this is so bad.
Actually, not bad.
But I think it's important to do that. I used to love Blade when I was a kid. You know, Wesley
Oh,
Snipes,
done
the
that, yeah.
half day walker, the
fun,
vampire,
yeah.
right? And this week I've been working nights, because I don't do this for a living because you don't give us enough money, people.
But if you want to give us money,
give us money, give us your hard-earned money. My shampoo's expensive.
Yeah,
We
I
need
mean,
it.
you want to get rid of that
This
chance.
week I've been getting home from nights and then watching a Blade film. So I watched Blade 2, Blade Trinity.
Oh my God.
And just because I was like, I'll fall asleep to this.
That's nice.
Because 2002 Jack.
It's so stupid.
It went off for me.
Yeah.
And then I was watching it. I was like, oh, it's not very good, this, is it?
It's risky revisiting an old
Childhood
love.
memories.
Yeah.
Speaking about being a child,
This risky visiting old love.
if you're like a child now, right, and you wanted to like watch the Star Wars movies, you've got to watch 100 now. Like there's so many, and there's like one that just gets pumped out like every 2 years. It's like, here's another Star Wars movie, and it's like, all right, kid, 15 Star Wars, let's go. You know,
And and a TV series.
Oh.
And stuff.
I seen I was watching Will Gibb and Billy Darcy. I was listening to their podcast. They did a podcast this week, and they're like, when is Marvel gonna end?
Yeah.
Like, and all this, when's it gonna end?
That was
Keep
my
putting
next thing.
fucking
It's like
things out.
Marvel. I feel like that with Marvel because I've never been a Marvel fan,
Mm.
but because of the podcast, we obviously have to do some
Yeah.
Marvels. And it's just overwhelming as a newbie to like come into like a Star Wars or a Marvel where it's just like, where do I even fucking start?
Yeah.
And we just did what's the new Marvel that came out? Thor.
yeah.
Love and Thunder. And we were
Natalie
having
Portman's in it, isn't she?
yes, she is. She's gorgeous. And we had a similar conversation of like, what's the end for Marvel? Like, is it just going to burn out or is are they just going to implode on themselves? Because there's got to be an end date for them. It's not sustainable.
They did that fucking Endgame, and then it's like, I didn't even watch that, to be fair.
Was
I'm
that their
saying all this,
really
I haven't seen
big
it, but make some good films again, will you?
Yeah.
But the problem
If
is
you want to
now,
cast me in it and pay me $20 million.
now what
I'll
they're
do that.
doing, which really sucks, is they're linking them all together. Which is cool if you're like an insider and you're like a
That's what I
massive.
mean, but there's two. If you're not,
Yeah, you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
are not attacking you. I know you're a big Marvel fan. Jordan cosplays as Thor sometimes. I'm sorry, Jordan.
Jordan's eyes are twitching over there.
Yeah, he's going, and you can't hear him because he hasn't got a mic. He's going, fuck you, cunts. I'm fucking done with this fucking podcast,
I
cunt.
will turn these cameras off.
Yeah, yeah.
I did. Shut it down.
But yeah, it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
I liked the
interwoven
Iron
they
Man
are.
films, right?
They're easy to watch.
Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and then an Avengers film came out in between.
Yeah.
And killed
And then
him.
they're like, oh, there's... I think that happens later. And then in Iron Man 3, they're like, oh, yeah, remember that happened with the world and there was aliens? And like, fucking,
There's so
you ruined a good little
much.
thing of films there by
Yeah.
bringing
Yeah.
in... I don't understand it. I don't like big superhero fight scenes.
Yeah.
Me neither.
They all like land on the floor, poof, and then it's... I
Noisy.
thought I knocked you off the couch.
No,
then.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
doing the land.
I was like, but maybe I am a superhero.
Alex just flew across the room.
If we can clip that so it looks like she does. Aggressive Jack. Yeah, it's just too much.
Yeah,
Too
it's
much.
too overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's too much inside stuff now.
I tried to watch Spider-Man, the new one, with my little brother, which I thought, oh, that's gonna be nice. I watched Spider-Man with us, and whatever, we'll do. You know, I want to show you, and we're watching this movie, and then I'm real like it's linking back to the Avengers, and then it's also linking back to the Doctor Strange like spin-off, and I was like, man, now I have to watch the other one, so this makes sense.
Yeah,
And I
you
was
have
like,
to do homework.
yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and and so I didn't, and now I felt lost, and
Totally.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You know
it's
what though?
alienating if
Green
you don't
screen.
Have the time.
I'm not a big fan of the old green screen either. Everything's green screen. You know what I mean? You're watching it and you're like, I know CGI's got to exist because he can't make web come out of his wrists. I get that. I
Sure.
get
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He'd be a bloody good acrobat, Spider-Man. But there's just too much of it.
It's too much.
yeah.
What's your favourite like genre of films then?
I grew up on comedies.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mostly. And then like scary psychological thrillers.
Nice.
As
They're,
well.
they're my favourites.
Yeah. What's your favorite of that genre? Ray?
The Bone Collector. Have you
haven't
seen
seen
that
The
film?
Bone Collector.
Angelina Jolie and what's his name? I'm hungover. Denzel Washington. He plays like a veteran investigative cop, like a
Of course
yeah.
he does.
Of course he does. And then
Denzel.
something happens and he can't be an active cop like that. And then Angelina Jolie's like his protege. And then they fall in love because that's what older men and young women do in film.
Absolutely.
And then Yeah, it's you'd really like it.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
It's actually, I don't think you'd shit on it. I think you'd be like, oh, it's a good film.
The only ones that I don't end up liking for the podcast are just the really old ones. It's really hard to first watch an old classic, like cult classic movie now on a first watch because it just looks shit, it sounds shit, you don't have any of the emotional attachment that everyone else has built over the decades since it was released. So they're the only ones that I really end up shitting on.
What's your favorite psychological film? The thrillers.
Oh, I mean, all of the Hannibal Lectors.
I love Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, The Silence. I love Red Dragon. Red Dragon was actually my favorite movie for a long time.
Yeah, and it's got Voldemort in it. What's his face?
Ralph Fiennes.
Did you watch the TV series that they made about like Hannibal a couple of years ago?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
Mads
I thought it was
Mikkelsen?
too. Yeah,
That one?
Yeah,
Mads? Oh, I loved that one.
it was really good. Are they still making it, or did they just stop?
I think it's finished now.
Yeah.
We
was really good.
we were into that. I love the Hannibal films. Even the one where they make him like young again.
Oh, that's
at the start.
Hannibal,
At the start, and it's with Ed Norton, and he's got like a ponytail in it, and you're
right,
like,
that's
come on,
it,
he's
Dragon.
65.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins is
Gorgeous man.
my brother went to university in Wales, and his landlord was Anthony Hopkins' best friend from growing up.
What?
And they had a party one night, and the cops came. And like it was just a wild party, and Anthony Hopkins like opened the door, and they were like, "Oh my god, carry on!" You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you
Like,
were.
hello, what can I do for you? And they were like, "Oh my god, it's Anthony Hopkins!" Yeah.
My god.
Tony, that's what they call him, Tony. But yeah,
He's so good. Have you seen him on like Instagram and stuff? He's so cute. He's so funny. I love him.
yeah.
I want him to be my dad.
Tony, if you're watching,
Tony, be my dad.
Tony, be my daddy, Tony.
No, not a daddy. Just a
Be
dad.
my daddy.
Yeah, be his daddy.
Be my
dad.
daddy, Tony. But yeah, all those films are just yeah. We had a conversation with Lauren. We had him before because we shoot these in the same day sometimes, and
Only sometimes.
about how like society is obsessed with like fucked up shit, pretty much.
Yeah.
And those films breed into that for me.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, definitely.
The man eats people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, get away with it, Hannibal.
I'm in it. Yeah.
Get away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you do it?
What
did
do
you
you think about when
Give me
they
the details.
they changed the actresses? The Clarice
Oh, to
changed
Julianne Moore.
Julianne
from,
Moore.
What's her name?
What's her name?
Jodie
Hannibal.
Foster.
Jodie Foster.
Yeah. They changed it to Juliet. I was fine with that
I didn't notice it when I was a kid.
because I was a kid. I was literally
Yeah.
a
And then when I rewatched it, I went, hold on a minute.
wait a second.
Wait a minute. That's a different woman. And they expected us not to notice.
Silly.
Yeah. Good films.
Great films.
What's the worst film you've encountered then?
For the podcast,
Yeah.
we really hated High Fidelity.
Oh, it's terrible.
Just like the film itself, fine,
Mm.
but just the message behind it and the lead character was just so gross and yuck. So we just really didn't like that. I'm gonna say something that might upset someone in this room, but Blade Runner was also not a favorite of mine. I just noticed you have a Blade Runner poster.
Jordan's gonna cry.
I'm sorry. I really liked 2049 though, but the original I was just not into.
Look,
That's the perfect example of like the thing of an old movie that you have no emotional attachment to. Watching it now, for a first watch, Blade Runner, the first one is like pretty crappy, but I understand the lore around it. And
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, probably Blade Runner and High Fidelity.
If it makes you feel any better, the reason that this poster is in the room, because my cousin worked at a cinema for a little while. Anyway, we just wanted a shit to put on the door. Okay. So there was no actual emotional attachment to the movie. He just grabbed that out of the poster stash and was like, "Yep."
I like
Great.
the way you checked your surrounds before you.
I did.
You made that.
Yeah.
That's that's very observant. But Alex said something hilarious, by the way, when we were organising this. Alex said to me, just so you know, I don't really know that much about music.
I saw that.
And I have like my favourite artist, but I'm just not.
Outside of that.
I'm just not. And I was like, don't worry about it.
I really
We won't
was
talk about music.
because that is like.
But while you're here, who's your top 10? What's your favourite Lennon McCartney song? Yeah.
I just like it's one of my biggest insecurities is just like my lack of music knowledge. Like I
Yeah.
love music, but I've just only ever liked the music that I like.
What do you like?
And I do. It's.
A bit like when there's no judgment
we
going
don't
to be
judge.
passed.
I mean,
We were listening in like this whole week. I've been listening to ABBA nonstop, so I
that's
can't
fun.
pass any judgment on anybody.
Okay,
at
cool.
all.
Number one growing up, and so I just very much still listen to all the artists I grew up with. So Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
unfortunately, Hanson.
But
Fucking love Hanson, like,
Yeah.
and their new stuff. Like I'm still a
Yeah.
fan. Who else? Garth Brooks.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah,
Love
nice.
Garth. They're like my Robbie Williams and Eminem. They're like my
Yeah.
5 main people.
that's a good pick. Like, there's
Thanks.
nothing wrong with that.
I'm all right with Robbie
but
Williams.
just like actual like cool bands and
Yeah.
stuff. I have such like I'm sweating just like talking about it. Like I don't know
Yeah.
anything
feel the
about
nerves.
like
I can feel the nerves.
yeah, my anxiety is like
Yeah.
my hands are sweating. Like you know, like cool
Yeah.
bands like Nirvana and
Mom's spaghetti. Eminem.
see, he's with me. He's always with me.
So, like,
This one's
Garth
for you,
Brooks is an
Marshall.
interesting one because, like, Garth Brooks, for anybody who's watching, is the #1 selling artist of all time.
Is he? I didn't
Of
know
all
that.
time. Like, he
Garth.
is #1. Garth.
My Garthy boy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Garth Brooks
So proud
sold
of him.
more than the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
look it
didn't know
up.
that.
Sold more albums in America and like the world.
Okay.
And because I was having a look one day, I was like, who sold the most? Surely it's the Beatles, right? And then going through this thing, and it's like,
Or Michael Jackson.
on record sales, Garth Brooks.
So Garth Brooks. So I'm Michael Jackson. It just shows you're in a group of people, a big group. It's a large group of people.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
You are not alone. Yes. These. Oh shit! I unplugged something.
Yeah.
Is the board still on?
Yeah.
Good. The last time I did that, we lost an hour.
Oh no.
All that for a Michael Jackson joke.
No, the white. Yeah.
I've actually got a
I get really scared now,
Michael
Jack.
Jackson tattoo as well. That's my one regret in life.
Did he make you get it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I got it, and now obviously in the last few years since the documentary came
Is it like
out,
lyrics?
It's regrettable. No, it's just his logo.
Insignia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look, Michael Jackson's the only like I can't.
You are a fan, aren't you?
Big fan.
I
I don't really listen much anymore because of everything
It's hard.
that's come
It's
out in the
hard.
last. I didn't watch the documentary, but I believe it, and believe everyone. But so I don't really listen much anymore. He's not in my shuffle or anything.
I just can't believe it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's this part of me as a kid just not wanting to.
Yeah.
And because the music's so good. Like, it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best. And you're just like, if there's anybody to give a pass to.
Jesus Christ. I
I
know.
s-
He fucks kids bull. Have you
But
heard?
it's-
Have you heard?
Billie
Billie Jean.
Jean.
It's so good.
I spent a lot of my I'm 35, so I spent most of my teenage years vehemently defending the man. 'Cause
Yeah.
like 20 years ago, that's when it all
Yeah.
was really starting to bubble. That's when he did that Martin Bashir interview, and it
was
was all
weird,
starting
though.
to fuck up. And I spent so many years of my teenage life.
The just after his money. I was doing the same
Yeah.
thing. Mum, the just after his money.
It's not. Oh my god. Yeah.
You know what? When I was a kid, I loved him, right?
Yeah.
And I've told this story on the pod before. I'll tell you. I went as Michael. I had a fancy dress birthday party when I was 7, just so I could go as Michael Jackson.
Nice.
Right. Glove, the hat.
Cute.
I had the fucking slip-on shoes, the glove. You know what I mean? The glove with the spot. My mum just fucking sat there for hours putting sparkles
There's
on this fucking glove.
Sequins on it. Fuck yes.
The sequins, yeah, I couldn't think of that word then. And I just danced me heart out, and I loved
Which
Michael
era
Jackson.
Michael did you go as? Was it black Michael or white Michael?
Quite tan, so it was
Are
in
we
between.
cancelling
It was
you?
in between.
Oh.
Yeah, it was in between.
We're cancelling
Yeah.
7-year-old.
I think I can a quarter black up. I think by my rights family. Yeah, so I was like, I'm going as MJ, and I just 2005 those trials, and I remember being like, just after his money, they want to pay it. And it's funny, I was victim blaming, even though I was victim of the same bloody crime.
Yeah.
At least, as Dave Chappelle said, they got Michael Jackson, they got the King of Pop, he got his uncle. You know what I mean? So that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same. And I watched Finding Neverland, and it was hard. It was hard for me to
I can't
watch.
bring myself to put that in
Yeah,
my
I can't
brain.
watch it.
You
I can't
haven't?
watch it. No.
Yeah.
Do we? Do it because it does this amazing thing. It presents Michael as the king of pop, the guy you love, right? And then he abused me that night, and it's like, oh shit, because you start going, oh my god, Michael was the greatest.
We're gonna be okay.
Michael was the greatest, and then he's like, and then he put his finger up my ass, and you go, no, Michael, no.
I just have this thing like I get.
That's your TikTok clip, by the way, Jordan.
Do you reckon?
Oh fuck!
Because I've recently found out about Michael is that he didn't actually like his normal speaking voice wasn't the high voice, you know, Maz. It wasn't like, hi, I'm Michael Jae. It wasn't like that. It was like, and then sometimes you could see him
like Jamal, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Take your pants off, kid.
Yeah. Then there's a bunch of
sorry,
like
Alex.
There's a bunch of like.
No, he didn't do it.
Don't say it.
He just paid them $20 million for being his friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a lot of logical brain back then.
Oh, that's okay. We grow up, we learn.
Oh, we do. Definitely.
I remember Russell Brand's bit on it was like, well, $20 million is a lot of money to pay a kid that you haven't fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. But I just don't want to like. I believe it. I'm not denying the documentary or what's in it at all. I just like there's just part of me that's like watching it and hearing the words, putting those images will just ruin my childhood.
Yeah.
Even though these people's childhoods were obviously ruined as well, mine. I just can't do it.
As none of this was proven, we'd just like to say these opinions are not those of West End Crowd.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. My favourite thing to say on this podcast, allegedly.
So, I just don't want to ruin my own childhood. So I'm with you there.
I used,
but
the Earth song was my song growing up.
Oh,
I used to put the windows down in the car, be like, Mum, and it'd be fucking -6 outside because it was England, and I'd be like, Mum, and we'd turn it up the windows would be down. I didn't have long hair, I had short hair, but I was like, what about the elephants?
What about us?
What about the sea? What about everything?
Can you even breathe?
What about us?
God, that's a good song. I miss him.
Oh, Michael, why did you
Not
do
being
it?
bad.
Who's bad? You are. You dirty ticket.
I was at a pub one night, and somebody was like the black and white song came on, and some guy just yelled out, like in the chorus, he's like, "It doesn't matter if you're 6 or 9." And now, like every time Black and White comes on, I can't unhear that guy just yelling that out at the pub.
That's rude.
Was that in Dubbo?
No, that was here.
Oh, okay.
That was here. Just like one Aussie guy was like,
Shout out Dubbo.
The chorus came on and he's by himself, just having a pint, bearded guy, big guy, and he's like, doesn't matter if 6 or 9. And he didn't say anything, didn't sing any of the rest of the song, just sat back down. And I was like, now I just can't.
Did he sing it or did he just say it?
He sung it, but he sung it in a very like stern.
Yeah.
You don't care about my baby. It don't matter if you're 6 or 9. And then just sat down.
Yeah.
And ruined your
I wonder what
life.
that guy's doing though.
Yeah.
Oh, he just goes to pub after pub waiting for that song to play.
Out and famous paedophiles. Yeah. Allegedly. Jesus
Allegedly.
Christ.
But he knew he was
Slippery slope this.
Stop with your cease and desist, okay?
I feel like we're getting very off topic.
Tito, let it go.
I did really want to have you on today and go through your comedy career because I really want to find out
we just did 20 minutes on my
That's fine.
Especially like because I think there definitely is a link between comedy and music. I feel like we're if they're out of the entertainment industry as a whole, we're probably cousins. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's operating on similar wavelengths, but I also think it takes I think it's a lot more braver in a way to go up and because you've really got nothing to stand behind. You've got your jokes and silence and the room, right? Mm-hmm. If you shit, you just can't get the sound guy to turn up the mics and like drown everyone else out. Yeah. So what?
But I actually feel the opposite. I feel that music, the creation of music, is so much harder than comedy. Like I've done this in my head. I don't physically understand how you write a song, how you create music. I just can't make that happen in my head. It blows my mind.
Well,
I'm not asking you to explain how. I'm just saying that but I feel that way about music.
Well, the thing is, right, like with a bit of science here, There's a bit of science behind it because you're using frequencies and you're using like kind of basic structures to kind of put things together, and there's pitch, rhythm, and all that kind of stuff, right? But it feels comedy is way more abstract to me because none of it. You haven't you haven't got the like.
Very interesting.
Yeah, there's no laws of physics that are kind of bounding you to kind of construct something in a certain way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So that to me, it's just like.
That was big, that Hamish. Like, my hungover brain just went, no, I'm not making any sense of that.
Shall we all take a nap now?
I've got like my heart racing. I don't know. I think music is it's if you do it, and like I'm a singer, so like you just sing. Like I don't see it as. I think sometimes like lyrics come to me and melody comes to me sometimes, and I think, oh, thank God for that. That's good. But it more. I look at him, for example, or I look at my band, the Grand Union Plug, and I'm like, fuck, how did you come up with that?
Yeah, right.
But then they'll say the same to me about like melody and whatever. But I just think I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
it's simpler than it is. You know what I mean? Than what people think it is.
But Jack, you're bound to some level of like physics, right? You've got a key. You've got so if the Grand
and I'm
Union,
very limited with my key as well. F sharp.
Well, even then you're still bound to the notes within.
It's so true. It's so true.
I didn't even know what that means.
We sing it. Yeah, no, but it's true though. My producer said to me once, "Are we doing this key again? Are we, Jack?" And I'm like, fuck off. I'm good at it.
I guess that's similar to like someone saying to me, "Oh, Alex, you're writing more jokes about your boyfriend." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So like,
but it's just too easy.
so like, but you're not like. You're bound to like notes that are sitting inside of a frequency, and you're writing to that, and you've got but where you're it's a free for all, right? Like you're just thinking of an idea and then kind of going, okay, well then here's an idea, here's a story. Now where is the funny in that? And like what is the process of like refining that until you've got the 24 karat gold?
Yeah. For me, it's. I get an idea, like a premise or something funny that's happened or something, write it in my notes in my phone, don't look at it for ages, and then put aside a day to sit down, get very overwhelmed, very nervous. That's actually tomorrow for me is my writing day. And
I'm excited for you.
No, I don't want to do it. Because once you get started in a role, and then I put it into a Google Doc, and then you just like go, okay, that one feels like I could work a couple of minutes out of that, and then just try. I write word for word on a Google Doc and practice it and make it word perfect, and then take it to a gig. Other people, who I'm very jealous of, just kind of think of an idea or a premise, get the basic beats, and then what they call work it out on stage. And I just can't do that. I'm so jealous of people who can do that. It's just more like freeing, more like improv-y. Yeah. I definitely I write my jokes out word for word, and then I'll like tweak it and stuff on stage, but I really have to go up with the solid chunk ready to go.
You seem very organised, because a lot of comedians we've had on like
I know, very organised.
Yeah, it's just like I'm just like, how do you get from A to B? But where like you have a designated writing day, and that to me makes a lot of sense.
Put it this way, in the simplest terms of being organised, right? Lauren's the same. You were both like 10 minutes early, right?
Yeah. I was actually sitting in my car for about 10 minutes before I came up.
I love that. I love that, right? We get like Pat on. Fuck you, Pat Doherty. And he'll be like, oh, I'll be 40 minutes. And you go, oh, nice. All right, no worries.
Oh my God, that's terrifying to me.
That scares me as well. Even though, and Hamish is one of these people as well. Oh, I'll be there soon. When soon? So now when he calls me, I don't answer. I put the fear into him. I'm abusing him.
I hope that I could potentially be very disappointed right now.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't come off as like a sexist thing, because I really don't mean it. But I mean, for some reason, like women always seem more organized than men. And I don't know why.
I think it's a general rule that applies, but there's definitely exceptions to that rule for sure. Yeah.
because when I was at like TAFE recently, I went and did a course, and our teacher, like, it was all guys in this course, and the teacher was complaining because he's like, "Oh, I wish there was some women in this class because the women are always organised and give us drafts of their assessments and stuff like that to have us look over and stuff. Where you guys don't give a shit and like we'll just like do like a half-assed version on the last night, and do it." And he's like, "Oh, well, we're other than that, we can give with the women always come back and get feedback and tweak it and do really, really well out of doing that." Where blokes are just like, "Oh, fuck it."
I've got a theory.
What?
Is it because as white men, we are given a lot of things, and we had the vote, we had education, we had all that. So naturally, it's just in us to be like, "Oh yeah, it'll be all right."
I'll figure it out.
Women have to wait, and there's still a thing like psychologically, neurologically that you don't even think about. That it's like, well, we have to be presentable and we have to be there,
prepared.
and prepared.
Yeah, that could
Maybe
be
that's what it is, and I'm hungover.
That's an incredible.
Thank you. Hit the clap button, Hamish. Hit the clap. Hit the clap button. Come on.
Despite the hangover.
Fuck, I know.
What's your theory? Because I think it may go back further.
Then.
Further than like maybe the last 100, 200 years. I reckon it'd probably be like more primal. Like. I don't know. I could be completely off, and I hope this doesn't like come across the wrong way because maybe like back when we're cave
Hunters.
people coming out and like hunting and stuff, and like say if the men like go and like kill a
wildebeest,
whatever, and then the food comes back. Maybe it was organizing to be like sparing of like where we're going to eat, how much we can eat, because we don't know when you're going to come and kill another thing because we don't know what the population. You know what I mean? And it's just
ration this saber-toothed tiger and make sure that it lasts.
Yeah, and be organized so the children eat and they're getting enough food and knowing what's going to happen and being organized so then they're not out in tiger season or something.
I'm going to watch Ice Age tonight.
That's nice.
Maybe it's the Nesta thing. Maybe that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Like even from the caves, presenting a home. This is a home. You know what I mean? That's organized. I don't know.
For me, it's I'm a very anxious person, and so I mean, this is not news at all. This is most of what my comedy is about: my boyfriend and anxiety, and.
She does it extremely well.
Thank you.
Extremely well.
And so like a byproduct of like the way I kind of tackle my anxiety is if I feel prepared and organized and in control of things, I feel so calmed and soothed. It's when I don't feel in control or I don't feel prepared, I like start spiraling and stuff. So everything needs to be very regimented, organized for me to enjoy life, I guess. Because otherwise I just panic attack. So that's where it comes from me. But like, I don't know, my partner's very organized and stuff too, and he doesn't have anxiety, so he's a boy.
I think my anxiety makes me less organized because I worry about it other than actually doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I spend hours worrying about shit and I'm like, you could have done that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How does your anxiety work when you're like performing, right? Like, do you get really nervous like building up to the days for big things?
Yeah, if it's a big gig, I get really nervous that day and like don't have much of an appetite, feel just like I can't really, like I couldn't do something fun during the day that a big gig's on that night because I'm just too distracted and thinking about it. But if it's just a normal gig, I just, definitely the first few years was horrendously nervous and anxious all the time. But now that I'm like, I know my jokes and I know how to do it and stuff, but it's like definitely don't have that anxiety anymore. Thank God.
You get up as well in front of a room of people and stand with a microphone. Like, you fucking doing wonders if you've got anxiety. You know
it's
what I mean?
weird because a lot of comedians are anxious people.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it weirdly goes hand in hand. It shouldn't, instinctively it shouldn't, but it does. I don't know why.
It's a strange one, the comedy thing. Even like, if you think about the act of it itself, of getting up and making people laugh, is ridiculous as a concept.
It's so silly.
Like, it is silly.
It's so
it is
silly.
silly, but it's one of the greatest things ever.
And when it works,
it's
the best. I mean, you guys would be the same, right? Like when having a good gig is the best fucking feeling.
That belly laugh
right on
when you go and you're like, you know, you participate in one of these like communal events as a panta, and you have that real belly laugh, you know, that uncontrollable, and you go, oh, and it's that feeling in itself is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
the best.
I wish I've thought about comedy.
Yeah.
Pat says to me, but I don't know if he's saying it as like a, you think you're funny? Try comedy, right?
I'm sure.
As like a come in so you can be shot. Come in so we can eat you like Hannibal. But I don't know. But I've always thought about it. But I like the idea of never doing it and enjoying it.
Just being.
Because now
just
music, I don't really enjoy it that much because it's
that's the thing.
It's what I do. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I was a lifelong stand-up comedy fan, like obsessive, like all of the, you know, the galas when they were on like free-to-air TV and all of the little like specials that Channel 10 would get from the US, like obsessed. And then that's the thing is like when I started late, so I didn't do my first gig till I was 25 and then didn't properly start till I was 27. So I started really late. But yeah, as soon as I started, I was like, oh, it's that thing of like make your passion your job, and then it does take some of the joy away from it as a punter. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want my brain to understand it either. Like I wouldn't want my brain to be like because that's why I would love to go to gigs. Like I would really like to go and meet other people in the scene and just be like that, but I can't because my brain is just like,
it's the knowing how the sausage is made.
Yeah, and just being like, I wouldn't do it like that. You know, and or do this or do that, and then you can't turn it off.
You can't turn it off. That's what I was saying earlier. That's why I love seeing like absurdist style comedians who are just nothing like
What's his name? Sam Campbell.
Sam Campbell.
Robin Williams.
Fucking best. Robin Williams, another example.
Yeah.
Like you
He's
just
like
watch him, you're like, I couldn't even begin to understand how this happened, so I can just watch it.
Yeah.
I had wrote down this to ask, like as a question during this week because I was waiting for this. I was like, why aren't there like comedians like him and also like Billy Connolly, like in today's world where it's like half like theatrical? Where did that get lost? Like, cause
I'm just trying to think of anyone who would fit that mold now. Not really. The whimsy of it has been lost a bit.
Yeah.
The whimsy of
because comedies became
Danny Boy, Scottish guy. Yeah.
Comedies became like a. Well, Dave Chappelle's The Godfather, and Kevin Hart, and like it's like, come in, settle down. We're gonna tell you some fucking stories, and comedies changed, and Netflix will have to have a lot to do with that.
Oh, definitely.
TV, what comedians they put on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I love Russell Brand. It's no secret. He grew up watching Billy Connolly.
Russell Brand would probably be a good example of one of those guys because Russell goes, but like where Russell was years
He's my
ago.
dream guest, you know.
Oh, me too, man.
He's my dream
me too.
guest.
I think he'd be a hard guest. Like he'd be hard to rein in, I reckon.
I think I'll just
Or
be
would you even
trying
not
to.
I tell you a story about Russell Brand.
Please do.
I met him. I've told this story on Monday Night Fever before. I met him, right? And it was like meeting my idol, right? And I've styled a lot of my life on Russell Brand, not the quitting drinking thing that's coming, but a lot like, you know, satirical choices I'll make, and like every Russell Brand, right?
Cool.
And I was like on a course for work, and Abby messaged me, my missus, and said, I know in text messages you don't get a voice, but this is the voice. Hey babes, Russell Brand's on at the State Theatre, should we go? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? I went to Zara and bought clothes, right? Sweet, I'll just buy something. I'll get some dry shampoo, just fix my hair up a bit. We'll go, you know what I mean?
Oh, as in like that night?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
like in 2 hours.
Oh, shit.
Right? And I went, yeah, sweet. Okay, yeah, let's just do it. Went, she didn't get me any dry shampoo. So I'm there, and we're stood next to these people, and he obviously knows these people, right? There's a wave and all that, right? He finishes and comes straight up to the row, right?
What?
I'm there meeting my idol in clothes I would never wear,
Oh no.
right? Shoes I would never wear. A shirt that looks like fucking Beetlejuice, right? And greasy hair. And I met my idol, right? I met my hero, and I just embraced him, and I said, I love you. I went, you're my hero, I love you. And he went, he said, "Oh, you look like me. I love you too." And I went, "Ah," right. But then I got a photograph with him, and so my missus is taking the photo of me and Russell Brand, being like, you know what I mean? Like I've just peed myself.
Yeah.
And he's looking at her on the photo. He's looking at her. And I think that's the most Russell Brand thing ever.
That's awesome.
He's like, yeah, you're my idol.
Yeah.
She'd fuck me, wouldn't she?
She's hot though.
I don't think she would. I hope not, Abby. I hope you wouldn't. But yeah, like,
That's
well,
cool.
I'd love to have him.
Oh,
on
me
it.
too. I don't think he would be that like a hard guest, because I mean his life now and where he's probably at now. He's not wild, but he's very open to like look back and reflect on himself.
Okay.
I reckon would end up getting into deep conversations that would go
for
for hours and hours and hours and start talking about the secrets of the universe by the end of it. Yeah.
I'd love to tell you about the secrets of the universe.
Well, yeah, I think comedy-wise, that those people who are kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just who were your favourites when you were growing up?
My favourites growing up was very Australian centric
Yeah.
because that's kind of what we mainly got
Yeah.
on telly. So it was Tripod. Do you guys know Tripod?
No.
They're a musical
I love the
comedy
way
band.
you've just said telly, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, it took me back to England when you said telly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, Tripod's a musical comedy band. They're still around. They're huge in Australian comedy history. And then they were kind of like my main favorites. And now since then it's like Bill Burr, John Mulaney. They're my two main guys. I don't know. It's hard. I always blank on this question when I'm asked it. More will come to me. But Bill Burr and John Mulaney, they're kind of like my two big guys. Yeah.
Bill Burr reminds me of like, because I'm from Dubbo, just reminds me of
cool.
like just people in Dubbo that are just like fucking just complaining. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I love Bill Burr. He's my I was saying this on our podcast the other day because he just had a new special come out.
Yeah.
And he is like my outlet for anger.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like expressing anger or frustration.
Is this the Red Rocks one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, I watched that the other day. An hour and a half.
So long.
Bloody hell.
So long.
An hour and a half.
He
Jesus.
released the other one like 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's a machine. And and so he's like anger and he's complaining. That's like my outlet.
Yeah.
For my anger.
Yeah.
I find it really soothing.
I would love to do that. Like, I think he would be so relaxed for the rest of his life. Like, you know, because he just gets to go up there, vent and get off and be like, yeah, it'd be lovely to everyone else.
I think he does take that into his life as well.
Oh.
Definitely.
But do you reckon, like, I have a feeling maybe comedy is the oldest occupation in history.
Prostitution, darling.
I've heard it's both.
Yeah,
Where did I hear
because
this
I-
recently.
Mary
this actually-
Magdalene has a knock joke.
She has,
Yeah.
she was just doing a
Is this
top
actually a
five.
thing? Like,
On
because
the tomb where Jesus lived.
Yeah.
It was rock.
I have a genuine, like, I thought I was genuinely onto something the other day because I was watching a documentary and they're going through like South America and they're breaking down like a bunch of the you know, their writings and stuff like that and their text, and then they're having like they're like, these people were the jokers, and it's like, well, that's, you know, we're talking about like 10, 15, 20,000 years ago, like long time. And then I mean, like, there's been like jesters and what, you know, all kinds of people throughout history, but it was just funny that they were like the people that were, you know, inscribed onto these pyramids. And
Look, people love to laugh.
Yeah.
They love to laugh for ages.
yeah,
But I've heard, I can't remember if it was a podcast or something.
That's what Hitler needed. He needed
He just didn't have a
bit of fucking stimulation. That's what he needed. Yeah.
yeah.
Adolf, you're very angry.
Once or twice.
Very angry. Have you watched the new Chappelle special?
You know what? You love Bill Burr.
Yeah. That's the problem. I think that's where it all went wrong.
That's where it went wrong. We should rewrite those history books.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You have to allegedly Hitler.
Yeah. I'm not getting,
Just in case his team
not getting
has
cancelled by his fucking great grandkids.
But did Hitler like?
Probably in Argentina anyway.
it. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know, because did he like when they took, like, Charlie Chaplin took the piss out of him? Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever like put out a
Did
thing
Hitler
about that.
have a good sense of humor? I'd love to know.
I think he made people come to his house and pretend that his jokes were funny.
I mean, yeah.
I think he's like, laugh.
Or else.
I told it to Pat once. I had a thought. I was stoned. Sorry, Mum. And it was about if Hitler was addicted to like amphetamines.
Oh yeah.
If the Nazi doctors gave him like weed instead, how different history would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
He probably would have.
And then you can imagine,
thing.
you can imagine him as like an Austrian, like,
Yeah.
like just like, oh, darling, this Hugo Boss boots are fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been a placid human being.
Yeah.
He would have loved it, I reckon, because he would have been like, I just have so many ideas for painting.
Yeah.
I just want to get some new acrylics and really just kind of dive into myself and really do some abstract German paintings.
Yeah, he was really committed.
Yeah, this is all
career.
about.
Why don't we get rid of the Def Camp idea and we just build fucking nice luxury hotels?
I reckon Hitler would have been a bit camp, like in his private time, because he
he lived in Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah, he lived in Liverpool. He lived above a pub that's still there in Liverpool for 3 years with his sister. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I hope that's not where he got his radical ideas from. I tell you that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he was never going to do anything to he didn't want to do anything to the UK.
Yeah.
He liked the UK.
Yeah.
But
That's
wouldn't-
nice of him.
he bombed the fuck out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More weed, H. That's what you need, H. I wonder if they
Yeah.
called him H.
H-man.
H. Want some weed? And he's like, every time the weed starts to wear off, and he's like, right now, we need to get back on this disabled people. And they go,
They just
edible?
hotbox him.
Edible?
Just hotbox him.
oh, I apologize to anyone who was affected by this trauma. Allegedly. But yeah.
Look, it's a hypothetical.
Yeah, it's
And maybe Hitler should have tried comedy and then been like, and did what, being like a bit more like Bill Burr, but not go too hard.
He just needed another outlet. You know what I mean?
I think he just needed somebody to clap.
Podcasting.
Podcasting.
If somebody clapped for Hitler and told him he was good at something, other than
Outside of running
other than being like
Germany.
telling him, Do you reckon? Because I felt like when you watched his like early years of life in one of those like World War II documentaries, he feels just like a guy that wanted to be appreciated or loved, and he couldn't get it out
He
of
went
anything.
about it the wrong fucking way though, didn't he? Hey, fucking hell. Yeah, it's a. Have you seen the photo? It's like in the school hitting Hitler when he was a little boy, and it's like him, and then there's like a fucking. Like a philosopher in the picture as well, like a really famous philosopher, and all the he's looking at Hitler, like he's scared of Hitler. Hitler's like 6, and it's like maybe he should have known then.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got to have been
He would have been a little
pretty fucked
bastard.
up
Yeah.
for most of his life.
He'd have been a
to
little
make
bastard.
Those choices
Yeah.
eventually.
Well, there was somebody who predicted that Hitler was coming like a long time before they were, and this is one of the things that was like originally got me into like astrology, because I kind of thought astrology was a load of shit, right? It was just like a lot of like
Because it
kind
is.
of varied things, but it's not. It's really not, because there's a lot of evidence with astrology, right? Like people of certain months make significantly more money than people born in other months, like to the point where there's like Forbes have recorded it, and and people definitely
Don't shit out the baby this week. It's July next month. He'll make more money.
literally and there are those months, and there's also those.
Hold on.
Do you know which ones they are?
Yeah, so there's a couple. So there's the Aries, like if you're born in like when's
your birthday?
December.
What does that make you?
if you're a Scorpio, then you're on the rollers
Okay,
list.
but
Yeah,
Capricorn, not so much.
have a look.
It's more of a middling.
You're also Elvis
Comfortable
was a
lifestyle.
Capricorn, so
Jordan, can you Google that, please? Getting a phone
Like,
call
I found
on
out
the podcast,
recent-
professional.
recently Elvis was a Capricorn, so that's
Oh, was
something.
he?
Yeah, you've got a lot of like creative people under your
Okay.
under.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
I don't
like
have to be rich. And
I don't
nice.
want. Where do I land? I'm a Pisces.
you're like a busy person. Like that's like, I don't know what you've really got, but Yeah, they're always somebody who's like invests themselves into like community projects or like projects and throws themselves into things, right? Like you're the guy that wants to volunteer for and help things and
Wants to, but never gets around to it.
No, but you do. Like you've thrown yourself in this, like into this podcast. You throw yourself into musical projects. Like you know what I mean. Like it pretty much.
I needed that. You made me feel really good about myself.
I was just going to say, I really like astrology only when someone's paying me compliments about myself and my personality. Yeah. That's when I'm really into astrology.
I like astrology.
But I feel like astrology is very like hard to discredit, you know, in a way because it's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
I remember getting the paper, like when I was like younger, and it'd have like in it, you know, like the astrology bit.
Yeah.
And I'd read it, and it'd decide whether I was going to have a good week or not.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go, you know, like things are happening all around you. The days are turning into weeks. And you go, that's true.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah.
So very quickly, but back to the Hitler thing. So somebody predicted
How do we get onto astrology?
So this famous philosopher wrote that somebody
yeah.
said that the next dictator or of the world who's going to commit atrocities is going to be born as an Aries and a Taurus moon. And next thing along, Hitler came, and exactly what he is, born on the cusp of of my month May, and born on the end of the Aries month.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I'm a cusp of Taurus and Gemini.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Libra.
Oh,
That's it. Libra. That's it.
Interesting.
Sorry, I got it mixed up with Aries.
So yeah, Hitler should have.
Yeah. There's a bunch of history. I think there's even been multiple books written about this.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Hitler should have smoked weed. Anyway, that's my point.
You're fine.
That's all my point. So, how many times a week are you doing stand-up? Are you out there? You're out there conquering the world?
Oh, not conquering the world, just more being next to the world. Maybe like 3-4 times a week. Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. That's kind of standard, 3 to 4 gigs a week.
Is it just like drop-in shows?
They're mostly showcase shows. So just like every second pub and bar in Sydney now has a weekly comedy show. So
good.
Yeah,
It's really good.
it's great.
It's like it's
so much
it's
around.
fucking, and it's kind of funny. I feel like comedy's having this like big resurgence. I mean, just with like people. But the weird thing about comedy is like I think because of lockdown, people don't know how to act when they go out anymore.
Very much
So then if you've just been watching like Kevin Hart's Netflix special from his home and then you're at stand up and you just say like, I'm going to say something stupid now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's definitely the case in the fact that a lot of audiences since lockdowns aren't as laugh out loudy because I think a lot of people have gotten used to watching.
I think that's on you.
screen.
No, I'm kidding.
Look, this is no. Let me have this. It's because of lockdown. Yeah, I think it's because a lot of I did a gig out in Casula the other night, and it was like 100 people, and I was emceeing, and I just did like the. Make some noise if you've been to comedy before. Make some noise if you haven't. The majority had never been to comedy before.
Really?
Yeah, and they weren't like young people. It was like all ages, and they were a really quiet crowd. They were lovely, very smiley, enjoying themselves, but weren't laugh out loudy. Yeah. And we were talking about after, and we were like, I reckon it's because they've probably just watched a buttload of comedy on Netflix over lockdowns and stuff, and then they're like, oh, there's one down the road, let's go and watch, but they don't know that it's not a screen this time.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's strange, that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I feel like comedians have done so much better, like out of the lockdown than musicians anyway. Like the spotlight, because you guys, especially through podcasting and stuff like that, like the mediums now got a way bigger spotlight on it, I think, than it ever has.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's true.
Do you reckon? Like, because I could be wrong by this, but I think by like the whole thing that happened with Rogan and the Americans, and then also like what's happening here with people like Will Gibbs, like, you know, the fact that this guy is, you know, going and putting these TikToks on and has millions of people that follow him, and like we were talking about Neil before, and like Friendly Geordies and Isaac Butterfield, who's now got like 1 million people on his YouTube, and it's like that's yeah.
I wonder how it transfers over for tickets, though.
Surely the YouTubers would, I reckon.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it would. But then it's like, how does that YouTube comedy transfer over? Not for people like Will, who does stand-up, but for people who are only online comedians, how does that transfer into a live setting?
Well, Ricky Gervais famously wasn't a comedian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He
was a comedy writer, essentially. He always loved I think he tried it when he was like 15. And then when he's like, oh, I'm going to start doing comedy, they're like, fuck, here's the big room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Straight into the big room.
And I think, have you watched his first specials? His very first
I loved
specials?
his older specials.
Animals.
Loved Animals.
Yeah. And
Fame, I really liked
but
that
he's
one.
new. He hasn't done the circuit. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you watch it, you go, oh yeah, he's like, he hasn't cracked this yet.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Whereas
I was disappointed in his last special.
Alex Jae going and doing what you've done, and you will get to those rooms. I'm manifesting the shit out of it. You're going to get to those rooms. Once you're there.
You're manifesting and you're hungover. I really appreciate it. That's a lot.
I just can't help it today. I'm just on fire. Once you get there, you'll know how to do it, and there's nothing that you won't be able to get through in it. Whereas I feel like those internet comedians, once they are stepping on a stage now, they're like, oh,
it's a different
this
animal.
medium is completely different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think for people like Ricky, like I didn't like his recent special. I was really disappointed with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's devastated. That he's not like, you know, at least Chappelle and stuff, like, fuck it, whatever with Chappelle, but like those guys, they're still on the circuit, like they're still trying out, they're still touring, dropping in at Largo and Improv, like to try out new bits and shit to see how it goes. But I think Ricky doesn't do that at all. He's purely like go straight to stadiums for each tour, and I think there's definitely like it can fuck up that way because he hasn't tried. He wouldn't know what it feels like to bomb in a room with 10 people.
I agree with you. The last special sucked, but the one before that, like the one. The one
Allegedly.
before that was so good, right? It was so
Humanity?
good. Yeah, and it was so brilliant because like I'd never like the way that he would just flip things, and it was like he's talking to you as an audience and taking the piss out of like the crowd and doing and just like flicking the switches, and I was like, fuck, that's really clever. Like, cause and he's kind of like letting you in on this thing on Netflix, and it was like almost like Ricky had come out of the TV and was just hanging out in my bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You need to do less of your ADHD medication.
no, but did you watch it, Jack? Like the act of the craft of just flipping perspectives was so clever.
He does that thing where I think comedy's at a funny stage right now, isn't it? Of what you can say and what you can't say. And if you're a comedian, do you have the freedom to say it and whatever? And I'm a little bit like, as long as you're not punching down, I don't think there's a problem. I do not think there's a problem with it.
The rule is, if you're not punching up, as long as you're punching up, if you're not punching down, then you can say whatever you want.
There's plenty to go at.
There's so much.
Over the minorities.
And that's what it's been historically. It's just so frustrating to hear these middle-aged dudes get like so annoyed at cancel culture and stuff but it's always been like that. It's always comedy has always been punching up since the Jester time. Like it's always been making fun of the people in power, but now these guys are in power and they're making fun of people who aren't.
Yeah, and
that's where you're falling down.
In the UK at the minute, they're setting a dangerous precedent because basically they want to pass a bill which allows the government to say, no, you can have this on a streaming service, or no, you can't have that. That's dangerous. That is fucking dangerous.
Getting the government involved.
Yeah.
No.
And also, they've done it with porn.
Oh.
They've restricted what porn you can watch.
I love
in
that the
UK.
government picks what porn you can watch.
Yeah. What? Those fucking weird, especially in Britain, like weird Tory rich fucking dirty bastards.
Has to review it like
You
all
dirty
day.
bastards.
He's going, this
they
one's...
made
Yeah.
that job up for themselves.
When I masturbated to this one, I felt a little bit funny about it. I think we take it off the list. You know what I mean?
Delete.
Who's deciding that? Who's deciding that?
Oh, there's...
Don't tell me what I can want
That's
to in my
ridiculous.
personal time
Yeah, as long as it's not a fucking criminal.
in the
Yeah.
office. You know what I mean?
Like, I think that should be the only deciding factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, is
Is
this
anyone getting hurt?
legal, and are these people not children? Like,
but some of the stuff I want. No, I'm kidding.
Unless
But,
they've consented to it.
Yeah,
That's
like,
different.
It's such a dangerous precedent because,
Yeah.
like, when you know that thing of like censoring is bad. It is bad. I agree. Donald Trump is a fuckwit, right? And he fucking led an insurrection on his own country, right? And that could have ended awfully. Fucking one of the worst,
So lucky it didn't.
fucking
Holy shit.
horrible, one of the worst things that could have ever happened to democracy in the west of the world. Anyway, that would have been it.
I
right?
also think Trump
So
could
I
have been
think,
a comedian.
Take it off him, right? But at the same time, he's just going to be somewhere else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's unfortunately, the internet has allowed people to have opinions on shit that they don't
Yeah.
really know anything about.
Yeah.
We do a podcast and we do that as well. But like really, and that's the thing. And now you just, you know, you can be like, I don't like that. And I seen there was a comedian talking about it, and they were saying if you went to watch a stand-up comic and they were juggling on stage, right, and you were like, I'm not really into this comedy, you just wouldn't go again.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go and watch a comedian go, I didn't like that, just don't go again.
Just don't
Yeah.
go.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
but I do agree. I think just don't punch down in comedy. No one
Such
wants
a
that. Needs
simple
that.
rule. I don't know what.
As
all
a
this
human being, just
outrage
don't
is.
punch down.
It's just so easy to follow. Like, and all these people being like, you can't say anything anymore, and like, what am I going to write about? It's like, well, the rest of us are still writing about stuff and not
Yeah.
like making people feel awful about themselves. It's really easy to do. But like talking about Ricky, I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up, but his TV shows are the best things that have ever happened to this green earth.
Afterlife is hard.
Oh, so
It's
good.
so hard to
God.
watch.
That's what I was like so confused about with his last special, like going trans people and stuff so much. It's like, how do you go from something so brilliant and empathetic and feeling like Afterlife, like so sympathetic to people's plights, to then going to, I think his stand up and his TV shows are just two completely different animals.
That is strange, actually, when you think about it, isn't it?
So not woke, but so aware and so feeling.
Do you think it's
and
the
empathetic.
persona of Ricky Gervais, the comedian, though?
Yeah,
Ricky Gervais, the
he's
human
probably-
being,
Yeah,
and that's that.
and he's like he's
When he
himself in both
sits and he
lanes.
writes, especially as
Can I
as
I have
TV shows,
I have a
that's
theory on,
Ricky.
on this. Like, I heard somebody say once that comedy has to go after the loudest voice in the room. And maybe Ricky is, sitting in his house over in Cambridge, and from his perspective, maybe he's thinking that trans rights are the biggest or the loudest voice in the room because maybe
He
spending
probably
too much time on Twitter.
Does yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
because there's just no like real world experience anymore. That's
Yeah.
that's what happens when comedians get too rich.
Yeah.
I heard a great one. Mickey Flanagan, who's a British comedian, he said, "Look, you all know I'm loaded now, but when I say I was on the bus the other day,
Yeah.
you're gonna fucking believe it, all right?" And they go,
funny.
"All right, yeah."
That's good.
He
Yeah,
goes, "No, I wasn't. I was in the back of a Mercedes Benz
that's
with a
funny.
chauffeur." Yeah.
That's good. I like that owning it thing. Yeah.
And we quickly dived past, but I also, because we're talking about, Hitler before, I was thinking too that I reckon Donald Trump should have been a comedian
Fuck,
instead
it might
of
have been
going to
better off.
Parliament.
It might-
Yeah.
might have been better off.
I think that's what he wants.
Because the one thing that I find really hard with Trump is that if he wasn't the American president, right, and if he wasn't in doing what he was doing, some of the stuff that Trump says is pretty fun, and he's got really good timing, and that's what his timing is fucking impeccable.
Anytime he talks at those rallies and stuff and makes jokes, looks at the crowd, he's hamming it up. He's like,
with his tiny hands.
Yeah, and he's like stupid faces, like that's stand-up comedy.
Yeah. 100%.
Stand-up comedy, but that is stand-up comedy.
Like,
that's all he wants is that adulation.
No, like even when like he's doing his conferences, right?
You've got enough money, Donnie. Just buy a comedy club and turn up yourself.
Like his debate with Biden was the funniest thing I'd ever watched in my life. Like it was so good, and his timing just fucking shredded him, but was so funny and like pulling him apart too. And because and Donald Trump with his Trump voice, I think that slow Joe, but you cannot make America great.
How funny is it that is the choice? Two men in the late 70s.
Oh my God.
Like how is that a choice? You know what I mean? No one ever wants. I slagged off Rupert Murdoch on this the other week and I made them take it out. But
it came out.
Okay. Oh, did it? Good. Yeah. When I feel like what's in place in the world is you're never really gonna get complete change anyway.
No. Because
they're so similar, and like the Trump fans are just like fucking. America's a strange one.
Yeah. Like how are they the two? Like
they're the best choices.
There are so many people in that country.
He like
150 million people.
That's
heaps. That's a lot.
Like Biden.
Let me. That's a lot of people.
I couldn't even count it on 2 hands.
like how many fucking zeros are in that? There's too many.
I feel like everybody knows a Trump in their life that can, like some kind of old man, old uncle, right? Who's probably got more money than they want and think that their opinions are like really good because they've got people around them all the time. They're like, you're right, because they're all on the bill, right?
Yes.
And then Biden is the kind of guy that you also know because he's like they're slowly going into like Alzheimer's and developing that because he like without a doubt this man has given speeches and forgets what he's talking about so many times 78? Now. And like the funniest thing is when he has to ever give statistics on things because he just makes numbers up. He's like, I think 120%.
Did you see the one where he said, I think America is blah, 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 blah. Oh my God. Like, what are you saying, man?
And I watched a video the other day where he's like, what were we talking about? And you're like,
you're the president
and you're doing a speech in front of America. And it also scares me too because like and this is what scares me about American politics more than anything is like if Biden as you know is developing like Alzheimer's and is in this condition, which he obviously is because he's doing this so much, who the fuck is calling the shots? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who is the puppet master that's behind him who's just like, come on.
His wife, Dr. Jill.
You know, come on, Joe. Here's your little boost of whatever else. Get up on the telly now and we're going to do all this stuff and you're just going to smile and try to be Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, there's a dog barking. It's you know, with the whole like Roe versus Wade thing that just happened, I seen someone tweet like, how can this happen? I'm like, these are your two fucking choices.
Yeah.
How do you think things are going to end badly? You know what I mean?
These are the people that we're going to protect.
You've got two old tea bags, right? They've got no flavour left in them.
Yeah.
And you're like, go ahead, make decisions.
Why doesn't this taste good?
Yeah. At least you knew when Trump was in, you knew that he was calling the shots because he was
so ridiculous.
It
was so ridiculous.
And plus he wanted the credit for calling the shots. True. Like he would go out and I've made the best trade deal ever. I am making America this much money. We are doing this and we are doing that and it's me, I calling the shots. Where Joe, you're like
just an old flavorless tea bag.
Dottery man.
That's the tag for this episode.
Just imagine all the like 40 and 50-year-olds politicians over there. I don't know how it works, but who are just like, this fucking guy, really? I'm so good at speaking.
Yeah.
So intelligent. I know numbers and words. Yeah. And this is the guy? Ugh.
Yeah.
Tea bags.
But with Trump, it just goes to show that if you have enough money, you can do anything you like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Allegedly. Elon. But you just get enough money and power and people just like, you know what I'm hating at the minute? My Instagram must be like, we see you doing a lot of research, Jack. so we're going to start showing you shitloads of Elon Musk, right?
Really?
And it's like, you know those fake quotes he obviously never said? Elon Musk once said, Elon Musk had $0 and now he has $40 billion because he never went to that party and and I was like, phone, do you think I'm an arsehole? Like, honestly.
You've got me wrong.
I don't need to see this. Show me where are the boobs? You know what I mean? Where's things that cleanse the soul? not this shit.
Look, I have to say, like, Jack doesn't like Elon, but I'm a huge fan. But at least with
don't like billionaires.
but at least with Elon, right? Like, he's a billionaire who's like actively doing shit and like making human advances and making great things. Like, I think Elon is the best billionaire that we've had since Steve Jobs.
Yeah, but it's like asking who you want to shag your wife, innit?
No, it's not. Like, I mean, if we were talking about like people like
who'd be my favourite bloke to come round?
Can it just be none?
Pound my wife. Yeah, why do we have to have them?
Yeah.
Get away.
Yeah, but at least he's making his like money and reinvesting it in like cool shit. Like, rather than Warren Buffett, who's just going and buying like, what's made money this year? Let's throw money at that and make money on the dividends next year.
I just think we need to have.
I wish we had more Elons, to be honest.
No, I think we need to have actual. See the guy who ran into the burning house and saved the kids in America, the pizza delivery guy. Fucking that guy.
Give him a bill.
Give him what he wants.
He'd probably do some good things with it too.
I'm just sick of this.
Yeah.
Oh, you made $1 billion. Woo!
But
you know what I mean?
He also made,
as my nan says, you can't take it with you, son.
He also made rockets that re-land themselves.
Yeah,
he
also
also
made.
He also made electric cars. He also made PayPal. Like, he's definitely made his contribution to the world.
The rockets landing themselves, shit. I can't dispute that. That's cool as fuck, right?
Cool.
That's like Alex's favorite film, Star Wars. It's like just cool. That is cool.
He's making tunnel like drills, right? Like these huge mega drills are part of the Boring Company now that are drilling tunnels, right? And as the drill goes in, there's like a processor inside in part of the engine where it turns the clay that
Can you tell Hamish is a big Elon Musk fan?
Into bricks, right? And like bricking the tunnels, so you could then dig tunnels and then have like your roads all underground. I just think like, man, like if you did one of those things, right? If you made electric cars, right? Everyone would be like, well done, Jack. You've made electric cars.
No,
like,
my mum, dad, and brother would still be saying, "Now I'm your biggest critic."
Now I do have some notes.
Yeah, can't you make them out of water?
Yeah. But you know that'd be
and I'd be like, woohoo!
But it'd be still something that'd be like, everyone would be like, well done. But like. Man, like, he just start doing like 6 of these things, and like, which Elon's done, and you're just like, how the fuck do you even do that? Like,
who's your favorite billionaire?
I mean, he's not doing it from his like, he's got a company and a team, right?
Yeah, he's not just going.
But he's actively there though.
He's not just going, right, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee and set his day up. What am I gonna do today? He's not doing that.
I like to think if I had as much money as him, and I think a lot of us would be doing similar things, like similar altruistic things with it.
I don't know, because like the see where I think it differentiates for me, like with the two of them, like because Jeff Bezos
is it because you're South African in your background? Is this why you like him so much?
Maybe a little bit. Like, that's got probably a little bit to do with it, but also I think the difference is that the guy, like especially with like SpaceX and like Tesla, the guy like lives right next to the Gigafactory, and like there's so many SpaceX employees that have come out and said like Elon knows his shit when he's coming in here to the office for SpaceX.
Wouldn't that be Dalton going to work and your boss is looking out his window at you?
But he's going around to the engineering departments, like to different areas, and he is like knows his shit to the point where he's holding conversations, and they're like showing Elon what they've done, and he's like, oh well, could we have done this? Could we have done that? And having conversations where he's dialed into it.
Have you
Do you know
seen
what I mean?
the film Foxcatcher?
No.
It's about the American. It was an American wrestling team, and it was. Have you seen the film Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo in it?
No.
He's like an investigator. He's a lawyer who goes after DuPont, who's an American chemical company who just like poisoned everyone. Bastards. Yeah. So it's a guy who's in the DuPont family, and he's a billionaire, and he's like, right, I love wrestling, like amateur wrestling, and he's like, I'm gonna get the best there is out there, and they're gonna come together, and I'm gonna build this team, right? but it's all about his ego of
Right.
they call me coach. He has nothing to do with it. It's an ego thing.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what the film's about. And then something quite dramatic happens at the end of it. Something very dramatic happens. But that's the whole thing of it for him. It's the ego
power.
thing of them saying, yeah, I just want to thank coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and he just fucking, yeah, he's put all this money into it. But at what cost is it just because you funded it? You know what I mean?
Right. And it's the chicken or the egg thing as well.
You like that one?
With people.
You like that one? Put that in your dude cinema.
Thank you, I will. What was it called? Dark Water?
No, Dark Water's very
Oh.
good, but this one's called Foxcatcher. Steve Carell's in it, Channing Tatum. Yeah, it's very good.
Interesting pairing.
Yeah,
I've never
Channing
heard
Tatum's
those.
like,
Never expect to hear those two names
it's
together.
weird.
on a bill.
They like wrestle together in certain scenes. Mark Ruffalo's in it as well.
I love Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, so give that a watch.
But like, it's that chicken or the egg of like, I don't know, I like to think about this stuff. Is like, did say someone like an Elon Musk or that guy, did they have ego and power issues before they became rich, and that's how they became rich, or did the money and wealth and influence make them like that?
Isn't it about the psychopath thing? Like 30. I don't know the maths on this. I'll just Joe Biden it. There's a percentage of CEOs in the world who are like psychopaths.
Actual
psychopaths.
Because to get to
You'd
that
have
level,
to be.
you have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Well,
Right, should we wrap up? I feel like we kept Alex for very, very
Yeah.
long. Yeah.
I just wanted before we do wrap this up, like I do see like your point, Jack. Like I do see the like the angry, like the you know, the mad billionaire, right, who's got lots of money. I just wanted to say, like, to, you know, and that's what I was saying about Elon and versus Jeff Bezos, where like I think Elon's been a lucky engineer to really get where he is, and he's not the stereotypical guy because he owns no possessions, right? Like no houses, no. Actually, he owns lives in a $20,000 house that's outside of his gigafactory in Tesla. That's where he's living.
Is that the house that there were photos of recently, and the kitchen's just real plain? and
Oh,
Yeah,
simple and
shit.
normal? That was
He
weird.
doesn't own any, like he doesn't own his planes. He
so.
doesn't own any of that. Like has no possessions, and I think he's trying to set the precedent, like the preset of going, look, I've got lots of money, but I'm not like I'm not trying to buy the world. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's different than that. He's obviously got a lot of money. Have you seen the film? I keep doing this. All the Money in the World. Mark Wahlberg's in it. Christopher Plummer's in it. It's about John Paul Getty III, who got kidnapped, and his granddad, John Paul Getty I, was the richest man in the world, and he wouldn't pay the ransom because he was like, if I pay this is like in the 70s, I think.
Yeah.
He was like, if I pay $13 million, my other 6 grandkids are gonna go missing, and my kids. So he said, so I'm just not paying it, and everyone was like, but you're the richest fucking man in the world, pay it.
30 mil is nothing to you.
And he's just like, nah, I'm not doing it.
because it's setting a precedent.
Very, very good film. I think it's on Netflix. Give that a watch. It's
What
fucking
was that
awesome.
called, sorry?
All the Money in the World.
That sounds
Yeah.
really good.
That was the money Kevin Spacey, the film Kevin Spacey was in, and then all that shit came out. So the director and Christopher Plummer were friends. I think that's how you say his name. And he said to him basically, right, this film's coming out. We've had to get rid of Kevin Spacey. Can you shoot all these scenes? And he did it in like 2 days.
Whoa.
Fucking
Oh, so they cut it out
Yeah.
of the
Kevin
film.
Spacey's not in the film, and he reshot everything where John Paul
To make
Getty.
it work.
It's amazing. You'll
Oh,
love that film.
interesting. Fuck.
Yeah, so it's like, but that was a tangent. He didn't have any money. His company had all the money, and it was like a trust. So
Right.
he lived in a massive house, and he could have anything he wanted, but it's a trust for tax. So otherwise, he'd have to pay tax. So when Elon's like, oh yeah, I'm living in this house and I haven't got any fucking possessions, but I fly on a spaceship or a private jet, I don't own these things. It's a tax thing. That's why they do it. It's offset tax if they don't pay any money.
And I think
It's greed. It's awful.
Yeah,
for
but
me, more the wealth thing isn't so much about what possessions he would have. It's just about how easy his life would be because of the money that's at his disposal.
We were saying before about the rider thing. About, you know, when you get to a point and eventually you lose all sensibilities.
Yeah.
You think it'd make it more difficult rather than easier. I think
it's
I think
easy,
would make. I think it would make it
What are the challenges in his life? If you think
In terms of like
like
because of financial.
yeah, and especially like someone like that who you can tell is definitely creative too, and has got that like that clock ticking in his mind, and also like then. And imagine you do that, right? Like there's no turning that off. It's like, well, how can we, like you're wanting to do the next thing, right? And I think what would get to a point where it would nearly, like I think that's probably what ended up really getting to Steve Jobs, like towards the end of his life, like just the stress and the pressure of kind of
also a terrible father,
outdoing. Well, yeah,
allegedly,
but outdoing what you'd already done, and the stress with kind of.
The pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a price to pay for being like that. There is 100%. But I don't know. I just think we can't feel sorry for billionaires. Vince McMahon, I was a wrestling fan when I was a kid. He's just some sexual harassment claims, and he's paid some people off. And he's paid like $12 million in like 16 years to like ex-employees. But nothing in it is saying like where he sexually harassed them. Just where he's had like an affair and then paid them off, basically. A non-disclosure agreement and that.
Right.
But he's 77 and he's just retired because he's 77 and they can spin it as, oh, he's just retired. But really, they're fucking coming for
away.
it. You know what I mean?
He's
like,
running away.
Like it's good timing that he's 77,
Very
really.
smart, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think we can feel sorry for billionaires. I think the only billionaire for me, like, oh, fair play, is Paul McCartney. And that's it.
Paul a billionaire.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he fucking deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
He deserves. This one's for you, Macca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, should we let it
Garth
be in
Brooks
this episode?
also a billionaire, by the way.
All right.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks?
Yeah.
So let's eat the rich, but not Paul McCartney or Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Alex Jae.
Thanks, guys.
Alex, where can people find you?
I am on my socials at Alex Jae1, the number 1. And The Ladies Guide to Cinema is the podcast that I host with Bec Charlwood, previous guest. And we watch all the movies that dudes have told us we have to see.
Yeah, like the 10 I've just said.
Yeah, they are on the list.
All right, thank you very much, everyone watching at home and listening. We love you.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Alex.
Peace and love.